So don't just look for something nice. Look for something that's going to be objective based on the yield that you need to chase. And it's better to start wide because that's going to give you a better feel of the market. Hey, welcome back, Leverage Addicts. Today's episode is slightly different. As you can see, our team had some ideas, so why not? What we're going to talk about today are the 6 steps to buying a property in 2024. Now, these are not your normal 6 steps because we've done more than 2 billion in transactions now. And the thing is, an experienced investor, do something slightly different to your traditional person who's buying a property. So I want to show you the 6 steps on an investor that would go from 3 properties to 30 properties or 1 property to 5 properties within 12 months. These are the same 6 steps. So if you're thinking of buying like a veteran, then I urge you to listen through. What I'm going to do is get a sign from my team. She's going to hand me a piece of paper and I'm going to explain exactly what you need to do within this step. And that way you can look at how you can apply it yourself. And if you find value in this episode, all I ask for is one thing. That is to share this episode with one person who's going to benefit from it. Without further ado, what is our first step? The first one is budget. What is budget, right? This is talking to a mortgage broker or an advisor to find out exactly how much you can borrow. Now, it's really important to note, if you just go to a bank, what they're going to do is they put an average yield on the property that you're going to buy. So if you're going to say, hey, I want to buy an investment property, they're going to put like 300-400. If you're buying a unit, if you're going to buy Auckland property, maybe $600 in rental income, that's not going to be the max budget you're going to get. So if you're buying like multi-units like our clients are, you're often getting like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 in rent per week. That is going to change the borrowing capacity significantly. So it's important to note when you're looking at how much you can borrow is to consider what the yield is on the particular property that you're chasing. The second step, what do we have? Research. All right, so what is this? Once you know what your budget is and what yield you need to go for, then it's about setting up some filters on realestate.co.nz, Trade Me. It's better to start wide because you want to look at what that budget allows you to buy and see what's going to fit within your cup of tea, right? So you want to look at what properties you can buy, but really important is to make sure it fits within the yield that your advisor have advised you on. So don't just look for something nice, look for something that's going to be objective based on the yield that you need to chase. And it's better to start wide because that's going to give you a better feel of the market. Now, really important step during research is not just look at properties in your filter, but don't stop learning. Look at what other people are doing. Look at case studies. We have a lot at Mortgage HQ. If you look on our channel, if you look into our book, if you look at our masterclass, there are a lot of case studies on exactly what people have bought within the last 12 to 24 months, and you can see what is possible. That's going to help you with your own search as well. So you can make sure you're not looking for a unicorn. So what's the third step? We have property. So property, what's the difference between research and property? Property selection is narrowing it down, right? You want to narrow down your search so that you can become a suburb expert. Or if it's a city that is smaller, then you can be a city expert. This is the difference between a person who's just buying an average deal and a person buying a great deal at a good price. Because the more you can narrow down a criteria on what you're buying, the easier it is for you to spot a good deal. I'll give you an example, right? If you were to buy broccoli or chicken breast at the supermarket and you buy that every single week, you're going to know when the special is an actual special. If they just put a price on a special, you don't know whether or not that's a good discount. But if you're going every single week, chicken breast was selling $20 on average per kg and suddenly it's at $14 per kg, you know you're getting a 30% discount. And that's exactly the same with properties. So what do we have as a fourth step? We have finance. So once you have the property that you want to make an offer on, you make an offer. You don't hold back. The reason why is because when we make an offer as a property investor, we put it under due diligence. Due diligence means that you can get off the contract if there's any reason that you don't want to go ahead for. And when you have the property under contract, you can get your finance approval. This is how investors do it because they don't want to just get a pre-approval straight away because it never works out to be exactly what you get pre-approved for, right? If your advisor tell you you can borrow $1 million, you shouldn't spend $1 million anyway. So if you can borrow $1 million, you're looking to buy a property for $500,000-600,000, you know you can get the finance easily. The only thing that you need to get approved on with the bank is whether or not they'll take the security. Often you might be buying a project that you need to renovate. So you need to get that checked out with the bank. Make sure that they're happy to take that as a security. If you have to go second tier lender, it's not the end of the world, because if you can get that property to a good state, you can renovate it, revalue, refinance to a main bank. And when you have a property under contract, this is going to go faster at the bank anyway, because they know you're serious and more likely to give you better terms. All right, so we got the fifth step. What do we have? Due diligence. So when it comes to due diligence, I have another video that gives you like a breakdown on how you can do that in a longer, proper way. But if I was to narrow it down, you've got the finance approved already. The other two steps that you want to take, the first one is the legal side. Get the LIM report, get the title checked. This is going to give you a better understanding of some of the planning rules as well, because your lawyer can check that for you. The second one is the title, right? You want to have a title that's not going to have a whole bunch of encumbrance and things that's going to stop you from doing stuff to the property later on. So important to get that step right. And I usually do it after I get the finance, because when you engage a lawyer, you have to pay per hour. So it's important to get the tick off from the bank, then pay the lawyer. The third and last one is to do with the structure of the building. Now, I assume in your research stage, you already done all the capital gains and the city growth. You've done all of that. You know what suburb to already invest in. Now you need to look at the building, and that is to get a building inspector in to see if there are any issues with the structure, and also if you can get a project manager in to give you some estimation on the renovation. That is lumped together as, everything that's related to the building. This is going to give you clear understanding on how much you need to spend if you were to renovate it. All right, and the sixth and last step, what do we have? Negotiation. So a lot of people have this misconception. Negotiations start when you look at the property. Well, you're spending all that time to negotiate, right? Veteran investors already got the property under contract. They just give the price that the vendor wants, maybe closer to what vendor wants, and not negotiate so hard in the beginning, because you might lose the deal that way. So negotiation has to be attached to something that's reasonable and logical. Hence, you do your due diligence first, you do your report, you do your homework, then now you know how much things is going to cost. There are things that are not on the listing that you have found out. So any unexpected surprises is a good way for you to negotiate the deal down. We're not just there to say, hey, I feel like I should get a lower price. That's not how you negotiate. You need to use your building report. You need to use your legal findings, and maybe even the bank, right? They might tell you, hey, sorry, this property, we can only lend you this much based on the valuation. Those things are going to be very good to help you negotiate. And once you've done the 6 steps, you can then decide whether or not you want to go ahead with the property. And of course, you don't have to do this all alone, right? Again, Mortgage HQ, we specialize in helping property investors. And if you need someone to just piggyback off those 6 steps, we're here to help. One thing in common for all our senior advisors are that they all property investors themselves. Maybe they're doing developments, maybe they're doing flips, maybe they're doing relocatables or buying cash flow regions. So whatever strategy you're going for, I'm sure we have somebody that will be a good fit for you. Now, if you want to learn more, do go check out our YouTube channel. If you like to listen, go on Spotify. And again, if you found value in this episode, all I ask for is one small favor, and that is to share this episode with one other friend or family that's going to get good value from it. Until next time, I'll see you guys again, Leverage Addicts.